Welcome to the Brady Events and Marketing Podcast, where we give you tips on planning great events for corporations, nonprofits, and also a really unique insight on marketing, too. Hi, everyone. I'm Elizabeth Marasco. I am an entrepreneur, CEO of Brady Events and Marketing, and publisher of Kudos Magazine. I've been consulting in events and marketing for over 20 years for various corporations and nonprofits. And the one thing I've learned is it's an industry that is continually changing. So make sure that you subscribe now so that you can stay up to date on the latest trends, tips, and things you need to know to help your organization or yourself shine on like a crazy diamond. So let's just jump right into it. Well, hello, everybody. I hope you're having an absolutely amazing day today. I was tickled by how quick the morning went and everything was smooth sailing. And then all of a sudden this afternoon, I found myself in a situation of a lot of last minute things coming in for my to-do list. And that included this commitment to get on here and do a daily little podcast and share insight for growing your business and having a better understanding of new things that are going on with marketing. But sometimes it goes also in the direction of needing to talk about mindset and even some of the basic staples in business, including time management and having some reality check talks with ourselves. And I often hear different business leaders or entrepreneurs or everybody saying, I don't have enough time for this. I don't have enough time. Well, there's always going to be time, but part of it's going to depend on what do you consider priorities for accomplishing your goal, and also how do you rank those priorities. And while doing that, taking a deep dive question into what do you do best? You know, we each have these different gifts that we have where some people may be really talented in one specific thing, but maybe not so good about another. And this is kind of where we got to look at what do we really bring to the table for our project or goal that we have within our business to be able to reach our goals. And it could be some simple things, you know, like maybe you identify that you're really good with, producing videos, or maybe it's more on the analytical side of your business of crunching numbers. So start to take a look at that and then find out what tasks that you have that maybe you suck at that somebody else would be better at doing. And that may require actually hiring somebody, or if you have other people on staff, of making different adjustments to tasks that could better fit their personality and their strengths. And it comes with the skill set. You know, we don't come into this world knowing these really basic things. And sometimes if we get reminders, it can point us in a different direction of having, you know, some insight of maybe where to go or how to do it. And I remember when I was in elementary school, it was maybe like second grade, and they had these different contests, talent show, I think it was. And I had this big vision of wanting to do a paper cutout of a bus, and then a school bus, and then to have windows cut out of this paper cutout, and then to have people sitting on, like they were on the bus and then telling different jokes. And I remember having this really vivid imagination and picturing it almost like, a scene out of the Muppets. But I was a young kid. I was probably, what would that be, 7 or 8? So, it was really kind of like a big, bright idea for a young one. But I found myself, feeling overwhelmed because I didn't know how to make this vision come to life. And I really didn't even have the know-how to go ask or find other people that could help with it. So nonetheless, my bus parade of jokes never happened. But with it, it gave me a life lesson. And it is what I'm sharing with you today about learning to go find the right people that can help fill in with some of the things that you don't know how to do. And instead of necessarily taking the time to go learn that skill set, there's other times it may be wiser for you to take that task and then put it in somebody else's court to have it handled for you. And that can help you avoid feeling overwhelmed or by yourself or caught up into the details. And there's also many other gifts that come from it. But even now, like many years later, at least I have my Muppet bus story, and I get to share that with you today. But you can learn from that. And I know that I have, of realizing I can have a vision of something, but for it to be successful within whatever parameters there are, whether time or money or whatever it may be, but it may require getting these other people to come on board to support. And, this is really like fundamentals that go back for many years with people that have found success. In fact, one of my favorite quotes is from Peter Drucker, and it's when he's talking about outsourcing, and it's pretty simple. Do what you do best and outsource the rest. So I guess Drucker was a little bit of a rapper in his in his own right. But yeah, I mean, throw a beat down to that and start looking at it. What do you do that is so phenomenal? And then start to fall into that and, start to feel good about what you're doing instead of carrying around this yucky feeling of there's so many tasks, but you're never really able to get through it. And a lot of this comes to you, number one, knowing what you do best, but also letting it go. At a certain point, you've got to stop trying to control everything and allow somebody else to bring their set of talent and their new way of doing things on board. And one of the rules that Peter Drucker used to share is, going back to this 80-20 rule, if you can have someone accomplish a task at 80% of the way that you would do it, that becomes the threshold of, yes, it's smart to pursue this new avenue. But if it's less than that, you're having to go back and redo work, then obviously that's not a good fit. So it's kind of like a little thing for you to nibble on as you're trying to figure out, how do I grow or accomplish this new task? Part of it may be looking for other people to come in and help you with those tasks and making it happen. So, and another thing is managing your time, looking at, how can you more effectively manage your time? That stuff like that can help too. And looking at what really needs to be done, like the things that you absolutely have to do and taking care of it. But then these other things, that's when you start to find out, hey, who else can I have do this? And I had recently gone through this training with Russell Brunson, and it was the One Funnel Away challenge. One of the things that was really most impressive to me is they did this pressure of time with this 30 days. And the big thing that he promoted, it was being an advocate for outsourcing. Like if you didn't know how to do it, don't learn it, you outsource it. You don't look for excuses. You get it done like immediately. And I remember they had a testimony from a couple, I can't remember their name, but they had great success implementing that that software and some of these concepts into their business. But what they said they did is when they were going through the training, they would literally take a bite of the training, stop, and then go do that task. Or if they didn't know how to do it, they'd go find the person that knew how to do it, and then they'd jump right back in. And they made sure that they launched everything and it was done within 30 days, which was, phenomenal. And now that's turned into a multi-million-dollar business and still growing. So, see if there's different things that you can do to, try to implement some of these ideas to your business model and stop relying on yourself, and jump on this Russell Brunson unstoppable train. If you don't know how to do it, sometimes it's better to outsource it than to learn it, but always have a general idea of how things are running in your business so that but you might not need to know like all of the details. If you have a website, you don't necessarily need to know HTML. If your expertise is in, selling something else, it may be better for you to outsource your website or outsource your social media so that you can focus on what you do best. And I see that a lot where entrepreneurs especially will try to wear all these different hats, and there comes a certain point where you have to say, hey, is this a hobby or is this my career path? And if it is your career path, that you're actually making sure that you have the right resources in place so that you can shine on and you can do what you do best and rock it out. But it's fun times, like starting to identify new ways of doing things and trying new things and exploring. But it can be, a little bit of shaky ground because it's when you start letting go of some control. But that's also where you start building momentum beyond just you or your small group of people, when you start bringing on more and more people to help that vision come to life. And I encourage that for you. Go take that risk. Go expand, try new things. And sometimes if you can't afford to bring somebody on full time, it may be wiser for you to outsource, that task, whether it's your marketing or if you struggle with accounting and you need somebody to do that, maybe you find a really good bookkeeper or CPA and roll with it. But so give it your all and, just enjoy the journey of riding this fun world. The business world is kind of cool because it's changing. We're living in this renaissance of, what's the latest thing that's out there, but then we still have access to all of the oldie but goodie marketing techniques. So, we're so incredibly spoiled. I love it. And I look forward to learning more and working with new people that also teach you and inspire you to new ideas. There's so much power when you bring two minds or more together working on something, because even from like a metaphysical standpoint, they talk about like power of prayer when there's two or more gathered. But in brainstorming, when you have another person that we're familiar with the phrase bouncing ideas off of you, it's because it's going back and forth. It's like this energy flow. So I'm wishing that for you, and hopefully through, listening to podcasts like this, at least simulate some of that feeling of getting that, energy of thought and creativity flowing. But step beyond that. When you're ready to grow, start looking at, hey, who are some people that would be a good fit for my business or organization, and align with them. And recently, this is something that I've even gone through myself in this past year, of bringing on new support in the background that is helping me execute some of these visions, some of these ideas that I have, but I don't have time to do it because I'm busy with other projects and, things that are going on within the company. So I, at a certain point, realized, hey, for me to do this, I need to find somebody that can fill in A, B, and C. And the interesting thing is sometimes what you think that you need help with isn't what you need help with. But if you can get these people in place, over time, it starts to reveal deeper levels of where your true strengths are at, and then making adjustments. Business is like a living thing, even within your own group, where you find out certain people have different strengths that you originally thought, or that you have different strengths than you realized. And then you start to switch accordingly, and just have fun with it. It's almost like you have this smorgasbord of so many different things. So why not try a little bit of this and that? But don't rely on yourself to do it all. Don't be like me as a little kid who was clueless with a paper cutout bus and couldn't quite figure out how to get the bus held up or the people in there cracking the jokes. Takes a team effort. And in fact, if you ever look at like a movie production, and let's say that it's even one of these movies that have like a headshot, it's just like all dialogue, two people, we'll even say two people just chatting, like talking the whole time, blah, 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 blah. Well, at the end of the movie, when you go through and you look at the credits section, phenomenal. It's crazy. I mean, dozens of people, sometimes hundreds, especially if you get into the really big productions like Star Wars, you'll have like a 2-minute credit roll. But if it's just, an ordinary film, even with just that ordinary film, there's so many credits that are in the background between, the writers, the sound crew, the lighting crew, of course, the actors that are up front of what you see, but all that support staff behind, makeup artist, costumes, set designer, yada, 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 yada. So, but there's a reason why productions that go phenomenal have a list like that. It's because everybody's doing their part. Everybody's found out, I'm great at this, and then they get in there and they give it their all. So yeah. So break out the Peter Drucker rapper. Do what you do best and outsource the rest. Got to let the other stuff go, you guys, and that way you can get to a place of being in I'll call it the warm spot. Like it feels good. Everything's fine. Everything's smooth sailing and you're growing. But you got to let go of a little bit of control to get there. And embrace the journey. Yeah. All right. In the meantime, I hope that you got something out of this. If you did, I'd really appreciate if you subscribe to our channel for more tips and insight on growing your business through events and marketing. And make sure that you check us out on Facebook. You can find us at Time to Beam, and also over on YouTube, Google, all that good stuff. You can also just search for hashtag Beam365. So in the past, we did a hashtag Beam30. We still have that. But for this new challenge, we're going to hit the hashtag Beam365. All right, so keep a lookout for it. And I appreciate all of you so much. So have a beautiful day. Be good and be happy. All right, take care, guys. Bye-bye.